everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It is Riley, aka Honey Rags, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, something that you're probably not all used to seeing on my channel if you've been following me for a while. Usually I do hauls with every video, so today's going to be a bit of an exception. It's going to be reseller related, but I'm basically just going to go through with you the brands that don't sell for me anymore. Maybe brands that I feel, I don't want to use the word overrated, but for me personally, they're not worth picking up. Of course, there are exceptions on every brand, I think. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to go through a list of underrated brands that I don't think everybody in the reseller community really focuses on, or these are brands that you might find at the thrift store and think about passing on, but that actually do really well for me. So I'm just going to get started. I'm just reading them off of a list that I made earlier. I kind of went through all of my sold listings between all of my platforms, all of my active listings on all of my platforms, and even some things that I ended up taking down. I kind of went through them all and made a list of things that I either didn't make much money on, things that I would consider bad buys, or just brands that I wouldn't pick up again. So I'm just gonna go through that with you guys. These are in no particular order either. So the first brand that I used to pick up and I don't pick up anymore is BCBG Max Azria. So BCBG also makes BCBG Girls and Generation and Max Azria. I do believe the Max Azria is the higher end of the BCBG line. I have a hard time moving it. It doesn't sell for much, not as much as I would expect it to, and it's kind of just something that sits in my closet. I thought the brand would do well because it retails for a lot, but unfortunately the brand just doesn't do well for me. Of course, it could be different for you. I don't want anybody to think that me making this video is me saying, oh, these brands don't sell. This is just what doesn't sell for me. Maybe it's the styles around me that I'm picking up. Maybe these just don't sell well for me, but I don't want anybody to take this as brands that don't sell well in general. So the second one is Soft Surroundings. So when I first started reselling, Soft Surroundings was something that I picked up a lot, and my listings do get lots of attention, lots of likes, lots of views on eBay, but they don't get moved as quickly as I'd like, and they don't flip for a huge amount for me. So I still do pick up Soft Surroundings, but it's not something I seek out when I'm thrifting. The third one might surprise a lot of people, but it is Lilly Pulitzer, and I love Lilly Pulitzer. I love the bright tropical kind of vibe that her clothing has, but it is something that sits in my closet. It doesn't move as quickly as I'd like. It's something that I don't pick up just because of the brand anymore. Then I also have Donald J. Pliner. So Donald J. Pliner, I think primarily makes shoes, and I've had about 5 or 6 pairs brand new without the box sitting in my closet at a very reasonable price. I've tried sending out offers. I've tried price dropping them, and they just don't move very well for me, and they are actually pretty styles, but they just don't resell well for me. I also have Eileen Fisher. So if you're part of the reseller community, a lot of people probably talk about Eileen Fisher, and it is a good find because, again, she retails for a lot of money, but a lot of her items sit for me. It's kind of a hit or miss brand, so I don't pick up everything Eileen Fisher anymore. It really depends on the style. Another brand that I don't pick up is Fossil. Fossil, I think, is just so saturated. They sell it for a very low price at TJ Maxx, so I think it's just one of those things that kind of lost its resale value over the years. Along with Fossil is Juicy Couture, kind of the same reason. I remember when I was like 15, 16, Juicy Couture was really hot, and it was expensive, and it was hard to get your hands on, but now you can find it at TJ Maxx for pretty cheap, I believe. Also Michael Kors. So I find a lot of Michael by Michael Kors around me, and I very rarely pick it up. The only time I'll pick it up if it's a really nice style. I've even passed on some new with tags, Michael Kors, just because it doesn't have a great resale value. White House Black Market. So White House Black Market is something that sold well for me when I first started reselling. But when I first started reselling, I was fine with paying $3 for something and selling it for $10, and after Poshmark fees, you know, only making like $4 or $5, because I was just kind of getting my foot in the door. I wanted to see what sold, what was popular, and what wasn't. So I used to pick it up a lot at first, and it would sell at lower prices, but of course it is not worth it for me to sell for, you know, $10 to $15 anymore. Also Lucky brand. So on the east side of my state, we get a lot of Lucky brand new without tags dropped off at Goodwill's. So I do believe the market is kind of saturated with Lucky brand's boho style blouses, so I just don't pick them up anymore. Another one is Lacoste. I think I'm saying that right. So Lacoste used to be like a really, well, it still is. It's a really preppy brand, kind of reminds me of Vineyard Vines. They have like lots of athletic wear, you know, athleisure style. I've picked up some tennis dresses from them before. It just didn't resell that well for me, so it's something I'm not seeking out anymore. Donna Karan, New York. So DKNY does not flip well for me. Vince. So Vince is still a good brand to pick up. I know a lot of people who swear by Vince. I know a lot of people who seek out Vince. It has a lot of followers. But personally, for me, the items that I get my hands on have all been basic, so I will no longer pick them up because they were selling for under $15. For me, I was accepting best offers just to get them moving. If I find a Vince, maybe like a Vince pair of pants that are really nice, or a nice Vince jacket, or something that is not a typical bland style, I would probably pick it up. But again, I wouldn't pick it up just for the brand if it's a basic shirt. Another one is Michael Stars, which I believe is a Nordstrom brand. So I have picked up a couple Michael Stars pieces and none of them have sold. One of them gets a lot of traffic, but I just can't seem to sell it. So I will no longer pick up Michael Stars. Another one is Ann Taylor. So this one is another one of those hit or miss brands. It doesn't sell well for me anymore. When I first started reselling, again, I would list them. I would get something Ann Taylor, a blouse, and I would list it for $10 to $15, and I would usually sell them pretty quickly, but it's just not a great flip for me anymore, so I do not pick up Ann Taylor unless it is a special material or a super special style. And then the North Face. So around me, we get lots of North Face, and I mean lots of North Face, but a lot of them are basic tees, and it's just something that does not have a great flip comparison. I don't know what you would call that. I can't even think of it right now. But it's just not something that flips at a super high value for me, so I don't pick it up anymore unless it's like a really nice new coat. Stuart Weitzman. So I might be pronouncing that wrong as well. That's another shoe brand. Like Donald J. Pliner, it is expensive retail, but it is something that it just doesn't flip well for me, so I no longer pick it up. Urban Outfitters brands like Others Follow, Pins and Needles, stuff like that. Urban Outfitters just doesn't do well for me, so I don't pick up brands anymore just because they're Urban Outfitters. So Ted Baker is another one. So Ted Baker London, again, expensive, kind of high-end designer, something that just kind of sat around in my closet, and I had to price drop a lot of it. I did sell one Ted Baker dress, I think for $30 or something around there. But as long as I sat on it and the $8 I paid for it, it really wasn't worth picking up. I probably wouldn't pick it up again. And another one I have on here is Trina Turk. Kind of the same thing with Ted Baker. You know, she's a high-end designer. I think her stuff sells well on the west side of the nation, I think. She's kind of like, reminds me of, I think she is from Los Angeles, like the designer base is in Los Angeles, but I actually find quite a bit of it around here, and I no longer pick it up unless, like I always say, unless it's a specific style. So I don't want to confuse you guys saying, well, these are brands that don't sell, but I might pick them up. What I mean by that is if it's Obviously special material, special style, or something that I think would be an exception to the brand not selling well for me, I will pick it up regardless of the brand. And then my last one on here is Cloth and Stone. So I think with Cloth and Stone, it's so easily available at TJ Maxx. I see a lot of it on yellow tag clearance at TJ Maxx for $15 brand new, so it's something that I don't pick up anymore. I've been sitting on some Cloth and Stone blouses, and I've also sold some for less than $15, so it is not worth picking up for me. So like I said, I don't want to confuse you guys. If you are selling these and they sell well for you, just keep doing it. I know a lot of people who I follow and who follow me that have great luck with these brands, and they have they bring in a good flip, a good profit, and that is great. I just don't think these work for me. So now I'm moving on to the underrated brands that you have probably heard of but may not pick up, or these are just basically the brands that are underrated for me. You know, it's something I do seek after that might not be, you know, the typical Fortune 500 brand for resellers. So the first two on here are actually QVC brands. The first one is Susan Graver, which doesn't have a huge flip, but I do sell her pretty quickly within the first couple days of listing, usually for between $15 and $25. So that is like a bread and butter brand for me that I do pick up unless it is a plain style. And the other one is Logo by Lori Goldstein, which does really well. That is one of my favorite items to find. Her resale is around, for me, $25 to $30. Even more if it's a sought after style, and it sells very quickly, it gets lots of traffic, and if something brings a lot of traffic into my shop or closet, it is good whether I have to sit on it or not, because if it's bringing traffic to me, it gets a thumbs up from me. The other one is, and I don't think I'm saying this right, it is Pleone, Pleione, I believe, which I thought was an Anthropologie brand, but I could be wrong. That sells pretty quickly for me. It's not like high-end designer, but it is a bread and butter. The other one is Burton for men's. So Burton is a snowboarding brand, and I found 4 Burton hoodies that I sold for between $25 and $35 each. I sold 3 of them already, and they've only been in my closet for a couple of months, so that gets a thumbs up for me. I will be seeking out Burton for men and women. Newer styles, of course. Patagonia. So I'm sure if you are watching this, you have heard of Patagonia. It is a very quick selling brand for me. It sells on Poshmark and Mercari pretty quickly for me at very reasonable prices. So I almost always pick that up. Even if it needs a little bit of TLC, I will pick up Patagonia. The other brand is Athleta. So Athleta, again, has a quick flip. So some of these brands that I'm listing on the underrated, they might not resell for a lot, but they resell quickly. It's a quick move in and out of my closet. And then Dansko, which they make clogs. Those always sell for between $40 to $60 for me, actually. Another one is Banana Republic. So I find lots of Banana Republic, and I bring home maybe about 10% of it. And that 10% that I do bring home is obviously I'm picky with, but it usually does sell well for me. Obviously depending on the style, but a lot of their wool, cashmere, linen, silk, special materials sell quickly. It's one of those small brands that just has a following that I think is going to be around for a long time. So also Stitch Fix brands like 41 Hawthorne, Paradigma, I think Renee C. There are plenty of Stitch Fix brands, but I find lots of 41 Hawthorne, Market and Spruce around me, and usually when I find it, because of the way people get Stitch Fix, of course, if you don't know, it's curated. You get a box sent to you based on your style every month, and you get to keep it or return it. A lot of people will keep them but never wear them, so I find them new with tags quite a bit, and they actually do sell well for me and pretty quickly. I'm guessing possibly because the styles might be exclusive to Stitch Fix, so they're harder to just go online and find. So that I also have new label copy. So the old label copy, of course, just isn't worth picking up. The new label copy, I don't find it a lot around me, but when I do find it, I usually pick it up half of the time, not every single time, but that does well for me. Another brand is Foxcroft. I find lots of Foxcroft around me as well, but I pick up maybe 25 to 35% of it, what I do find. But based on the prints, Foxcroft is known for their button-up tops, lots of crazy prints, lots of crazy patterns. I pick up, you know, plaid and bright patterns. There are a couple that I picked up that have been sitting for a while, but to be honest, they're kind of bland, so it's not surprising. That was my own fault. Torrid is my favorite brand to resell. I absolutely love picking up Torrid. It flips quickly for me and at a reasonable price, around $20 to $25 a piece. Usually it sells within the first week of being listed, obviously at a reasonable price. Another brand that I believe is underrated is LL Bean. It's been around forever, but it is just one of those brands that is just very high quality. People are always looking for LL Bean. It's a trusted brand. It sells well for me. American Eagle Outfitters. So when I first started reselling, I didn't go out of my way to pick up American Eagle because, you know, they have American Eagle Outlet and it's been popular for a while, kind of like Miss Me, so I do believe the market's kind of saturated with American Eagle. But I did pick up, I think, 1 or 2 of their sweaters that I just couldn't pass up because they were so cute, and to my surprise they sold pretty quickly. So it's one of those brands that I wouldn't just pick up, obviously, just for the brand, but keep your eye out for the styles because it does sell well for me. All Saints. So All Saints it retails for, you know, higher, but unlike Theory and Donald J. Pliner and some other brands that kind of have been on the market for a long time and are saturated. I know I've been using the word saturated a lot, but it really it fits with what I'm trying to explain to you guys. All Saints is something that I just think has a huge following. It's not too saturated on the market, so it sells well for me. I think between $30 and $40 for most pieces. Prana, which is a yoga focused brand, that one always sells well for me. You know, again, it's one of my bread and butters. I don't expect to get $40 out of each Prana top that I sell, but if I list it for between $20 and $25, I usually get an offer. Sometimes I get full price sales, but you know, I usually get offers between $15 and $20. Equipment that sells really well for me at a higher value, like $30 to $40. Dolan Left Coast, which is actually also sold at Anthropologie. That brand always brings in traffic and it sells pretty well for me. Emu, which they're kind of like UGG. They're based in Australia. I think they mainly make boots and shoes, but they also make, you know, cardigans and jackets and stuff like that. And it sells well for me. I think I might have only sold one thing, but it sold like overnight at full asking price. So that is definitely a brand I will always keep my eye out for. Obviously, I don't find it a lot around here, but I do think it's underrated because I don't see most people talking about it. And then my last one on here is Neon Buddha, which is a hit or miss. I have been sitting on some Neon Buddha, but some of it I have also sold overnight at full asking price. So I almost always pick up Neon Buddha unless it is a basic style. A lot of the Neon Buddha that I've been sitting on, I've had at a higher price point, and I haven't been sitting on it for that long. So it definitely is a thumbs up brand for me. So if you guys have watched this whole thing, I really appreciate it. If you guys want to let me know what brands sell for you that you think are underrated, or if you guys want to, you know, let me know what brands I listed on my first list of being overrated, actually that you do pick up and do sell for you, that would be great too, because I always love reading the comments. I always love reading people's feedback on YouTube and Instagram. I do read literally every single comment that I get. I love hearing from other people what is selling for them and what is not selling for them, even if that doesn't match my track records with reselling, what's doing well for other people and how other people are moving items and inventory in and out of their closets. So let me know what you guys think. I will be doing more reseller related videos. I will probably be doing a haul video within the next week. And if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, as always, it's honey.rags. And if you guys don't follow me on my Poshmark closet, it's honeyrags with no dot, as well as Relovv and Mercari. My eBay is a little bit tricky because I just started Honey Rags eBay not that long ago, but before this I was actually selling through my fiance's eBay, but he put so much he puts so much stuff on there. I wanted to just kind of separate from his onto my own brand, pretty much, where I just resold clothing. So thank you again. I know I've said thank you like 20 times, but seriously, it means a lot to me. Every single subscriber that I get like super excited about. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and happy selling.